Hi Panthers, and welcome to the Manteno High School Extracurricular Code of Ethics presentation. To try out and participate in extracurricular activities, all students must have a current physical on file in the high school office. All previous debts to the district must be paid in full, and the online athletic registration must be completed at our athletics website. This will include all paperwork that needs to be completed prior to tryouts. There is also a $75 participation fee that needs to be paid after your child has made the team. This can be paid online through Skyward or to the high school office. Topics covered in this presentation include the Code of Ethics, Scholastic Eligibility, Websites and Safety, Parental Expectations, Concussions, and our random drug testing procedures. The Code of Ethics is a school board approved policy which governs the actions and conduct of our extracurricular students. Extracurriculars are a privilege and can be taken away from a student if they do not adhere to our Code of Ethics. This policy applies year-round and is continuous for all 4 years of a student's time at MHS. So in essence, a student could get their first offense as a freshman and their second offense later as a senior. The Code of Ethics is divided into 3 categories of violations. The first category is for minor insubordination and misconduct. This includes, but is not limited to, behavior which disrupts the school environment, hazing and harassment, and the use of profanity. Even though the Code of Ethics involves punitive measures for most violations, that is not the primary intent of this document. Every violation by a student will first result in notification of the incident to the parents and coach or sponsor, documentation of the incident, and counseling of the student to determine the cause of the behavior and ways we can improve it. Our main goal is to correct the inappropriate behavior. In regards to the punitive measures to a Category 1 violation, the first offense will result in a 10% suspension of the games for that season. On the second offense, there will be a 40% suspension from games, and the third offense will result in that student being suspended from all extracurricular activities for 1 calendar year. Category 2 violations includes the use and or possession of any tobacco or vape products. The consequences for a Category 2 violation include a 25% suspension from games on the first offense. On the second offense, the student will be removed from that team for the remainder of the season. And the third offense will result in suspension from all extracurricular activities for 1 calendar year. Category 3 violations includes any act of gross misconduct by the student, including the use or possession of alcohol or illegal substances, and being in attendance at a party or in a car where underage drinking of alcohol or illegal drugs are present. Category 3 violations also includes any act of gross misbehavior resulting in an out-of-school suspension for the student. As for the consequences of a Category 3 violation, a disciplinary board will meet to determine the consequences, which along with the suspension of games may include counseling services for the student. This disciplinary board consists of myself, another administrator, a coach of a boys team, a coach of a girls team, and a fine arts sponsor. All students participating in extracurricular activities must be in good academic standing. Eligibility will be checked each week. Any student who is failing 2 classes will be ineligible to participate in contests for the next week. Students will still be expected to practice and attend games at this time. Any student who is ineligible for 3 consecutive weeks will be removed from the team. Grades are also checked at the end of each semester. Failing 2 classes on a semester report card will make that student ineligible to participate in extracurricular activities for the entire next semester. Student athletes may also have consequences in accordance to team rules from a coach or sponsor. Each discipline situation is unique and will be dealt with on an individual basis. You, as the athlete and parent, may have questions regarding a certain situation. You have every right to reach out and ask questions. As for the established procedure, we ask that the athlete first talk to the coach. This is where most of the communication should be taking place from the start. After that, parents can request a meeting with the coach to talk. If the problem is not rectified, then you can call me, the athletic director. There exist third-party websites and social media accounts that are not affiliated with the district that may print, publish, or post game highlights, pictures, and stats. These are not under the ownership of the school district, and as such, students should refrain from sharing personal contact information. As a result of these third-party sites, students must sign and agree to the district's media release form. I want to also stress the importance for students to be careful of the content that they post on social media. Most altercations with students at school originate from inappropriate behavior, content, and words that are shared on social media. Depending on the situation, students can be disciplined for inappropriate social media use. We ask that parents be positive, be supportive, and be a good role model during contests and throughout the season for their child as well as others. When you feel it is necessary to sit down and have a meeting with a coach, topics that are okay to discuss include ways to help your child, things your child can improve on, concerns about academic eligibility, concerns about behavior, and treatment of your son or daughter. There are some topics that our coaches will not discuss with parents, including talking about other student athletes, coaching philosophy, and playing time. We also ask that you do not confront a coach directly before or after a practice or game. Please call or email them to set up a meeting. Manteno High School has a full-time athletic trainer provided by Illinois Bone and Joint Institute. Along with working with your child in injury prevention and treatment of injuries, concussions have been a major focus in all of sports. A concussion is a direct blow to the head, face, neck, or elsewhere which causes force to be transmitted to the head. There is usually a rapid onset of symptoms, but in some cases, symptoms can evolve over hours. Not all concussions result in a loss of consciousness, while a majority of concussions resolve themselves in 7 to 10 days. It could take longer in adolescence. The signs and symptoms of a concussion include headache, loss of consciousness, confusion, fatigue, dizziness, nausea, vomiting, slurred speech, ringing in the ears, upset stomach, sensitivity to light or sound, irritability or personality changes, concentration or memory loss, and loss of balance. The Youth Sports Concussion Act required all school districts to implement a return-to-learn protocol followed by a return-to-play protocol for all diagnosed concussions. As part of this, all coaches are required to complete concussion training, including passing a test from the IHSA. This act also implemented the formation of a concussion oversight team for the district. Once a student athlete is diagnosed with a concussion, they will meet with our school nurse and begin the return-to-learn protocol. Depending on the severity of the concussion, the student could have restrictions placed upon them, including no schoolwork, no screen time including phone or computers, or even no school. They will then follow through the different stages on this slide. Once the student has passed the return-to-learn protocol, they will then work with our athletic trainer on the return-to-play protocol. This usually takes about a week to complete and includes the different stages on this slide. Every student athlete will take and complete a concussion baseline test. This test measures multiple aspects of cognitive function and will be taken at the beginning of their season. The baseline test, which is taken online, is another tool to track the recovery of a concussion. The test taken at the beginning of the season is referred to as the baseline test. After the initial injury, the student will take the same test at different stages of the return-to-play protocol in order to compare those results to those of the baseline test. Manteno High School will be random drug testing its extracurricular participants this school year. This procedure furthers the school district's interests in mitigating against the high incidence of alcohol and drug abuse by students nationwide, limiting drug and alcohol use in the school community, and promoting the health and safety of our extracurricular participants. Subject to the random testing are participants in any school-sponsored, competitive, or IHSA-governed activity, including interscholastic athletics, football cheerleading, show choir, scholastic bowl, chess, and speech. The testing will be comprised of a urinalysis conducted by Riverside Hospital, testing for banned, illegal, and prohibited substances. Testing will occur roughly once a month for those participants who are in season. The samples will be collected at Manteno High School by representatives from Riverside Hospital, who is then responsible for testing the samples and providing the results. Riverside Hospital will also be responsible for the anonymous and random selection of students to be tested. Extracurricular participants will be eligible for random testing throughout the entirety of each season and could be randomly selected more than once. All students and parents at Manteno High School must sign off and agree to the random drug testing procedures in order to participate in extracurriculars at Manteno High School. Any failure of a random drug test will fall under a Category 3 violation of the Code of Ethics. The random drug testing procedures are a part of the online athletic registration process. Please read this document fully, as this presentation is just a brief overview. The goal of these procedures is not to punish students. The goal is to deter the use of prohibited substances and promote the students' health and safety. The Manteno Athletic Boosters is an organization that has been a huge help to our student athletes over the years by helping provide for and assist with all of our athletic programs. Please email the address on the screen if you are interested in helping or would like more information. Here is a list of recent donations the Athletic Boosters have made to our programs over the recent years. We are very grateful for all they have done for our student athletes. As a reminder, please make sure you have a current physical on file, all previous debts are paid, and you complete the online registration process. There will also be a $75 participation fee to be paid before the first contest. I would like to thank you for viewing this presentation. Please make sure you read through all the documents in the online athletic registration, including the Code of Ethics. This presentation does not replace the Code of Ethics document, as it only highlights the main parts. By signing off on all forms, you are acknowledging that you have read them and agreed to them. We are extremely excited to get started with this season. Should you have any questions throughout the school year, please don't hesitate to contact me. Go Panthers!